Once again, we're making an update video about Bitcoin and Ethereum. We'll take a look at my positions and we'll also check out the trading bots. As you know, I've now closed the trading bots. You know this, I closed the 4x leverage trading bot in a previous video, but I've also now closed the $10,000 bot, yes, with a profit of $218. It didn't run for very long. I think it was about 2 weeks, not even that. 10 days, just 10 days for $200 profit. That was very good. Why did I close it? We'll go through that. We'll also take another look at some current results. I did a bit of scalping today. -1, I had a failed trade. That one didn't go so well for whatever reason. I took it after this signal, but you can all have the indicator as well. Check out the video description. I've linked it there. It's free, but I actually caught 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 profitable signals with it. I never hold all the way to the very end. Instead, I really look for good risk-reward ratios, but we'll go over that at the end as well. The video was supposed to come out a bit earlier, and I was just in this trade, which was really, really nice. And I'll explain a bit more about it to you. Exactly. So how are the positions looking? We still have the 100x leverage, which I also scaled live in that one video. So with the 100x, I want to scale that soon. We'll take a look at that with Ethereum using the Liquidation Heatmap, where I'm ready to scale this position. And the 2400 are still very, very interesting. We can see here on the Liquidation Heatmap, there is an incredible amount there, and we shouldn't miss out on that. Anyone who maybe doesn't have an open position with low leverage, you could try it. Yeah, but this is not a recommendation. I'm just saying how I do it. With 100x, I have a very, very good average entry price of around $1,628, and that's why I can leverage it and scale my position. Other than that, I still have my 2 coin margin positions. Just under $24,000 are in Ethereum. I've already realized $3,300 there, and well, a bit over $4,000 is still profit. And with Bitcoin, which had a very good entry at $85,000, I've realized $1,546 so far. $500 are still unrealized profit. I definitely want to scale this up, and today in the video I'll show you how I go about it, because I've set a position here at around 100,000, also in US Tether, for a new opening. We'll see if we get there in a moment. Let's take a look at it on the chart now. Let's get started. We'll start with US Tether dominance. I also talked about this in the last video. Said, okay, we're a little over it again. So on the daily chart, we're a bit below it again. And unfortunately, as of today, US Tether dominance, which previously found more or less resistance here, now seems to be moving back above this major support line, or rather resistance line that we have. It seems to be going above it again. And that's not so great at the moment, because for Bitcoin, it would mean that we would continue to go down here. But we'll see how it looks at the daily close. But also important, really important, is the weekly close. On the weekly close, you can see perfectly here how well this support and resistance line works. And we're all hoping that we close below it so that we can start the next week off very bullish. And now we're going to take a closer look at the chart again. So last update I took a video break yesterday. At the end, we talked about, the last thing I mentioned was the Fibonacci. I just managed to squeeze it in at the very end, the Fibonacci retracement that we currently have in place. I said we need to watch out because here we have the possibility of a rejection. There was actually a brief rejection, but the real resistance came in at 0.786. And that's where the rejection happened. After that, there were multiple rejections at 0.618, all the way up to 0.65. Even with a small wick to the upside, and then the price was pushed down. But what happens next? We'll take a look at that in the Liquidation Heatmap. You know, I'm more of a fan of zooming out. We can take a look at it on the one-day chart. That also looks very, very interesting. There's a lot going on above and below. This price range is super key, interesting for the market makers right now. What we've been dropping here since today, since this morning, an incredible number of shorts have come in, but not just in this price range up to around 105,000. No, there are even some up to 107,000. What does that mean? In this area here, since this morning, people have started shorting Bitcoin. Some have done it with more risk, others with less risk. Some have their liquidations here, and the others have them over here. And now, for the market makers, this could actually be, when the market opens, a chance for us to pick that up, or that the shorts here are simply so strong that we push prices down. And I'll show you in a moment where I would like that to go, where I would like it to go. Of course, I can't decide that. Sorry, I think this is on the 2-week chart. No, this is the 1-week chart. Exactly. Because at the same time, since yesterday, people have been trying to go long on Bitcoin. And since this morning, that's been getting even more intense. Now the question is, are the bears or the bulls stronger? Because this price range around 100,000, which is really very, very interesting, still has liquidity up to about $99,000. That would be an opportunity for me to scale my positions. I'll show you on the chart now exactly what I mean. Right here, we have 100,704. Now, that would be the candle wick we have, this long wick going downward. That's the first thing that interests me. Should we get there? Because at this point in time, if we look closely, we have a support line. Actually, I can just use this one as well. Sorry. At the current moment, what was our high here is now acting as support. And once again, we've gotten a rejection here and the price is moving up. The only question is, how far will it go? Up. Will it look for the 0.382 level again as resistance? Because at the moment, we're making lower lows and lower highs, which represents a bearish price structure. However, what's very interesting is that we're currently not making a lower low down here. If we really do break downwards in this price area, then we'll at least see some support around 100,700, which is about where this candle wick went down. And if that doesn't hold, then to be completely honest, the liquidation zone here from 100,000 to just below that becomes extremely interesting. And also with Bitcoin, if we look at it, up to around 99,000, 800, 700, as I said, that would again be my key level. And that lines up everywhere. If I go to the 4-hour chart here, with these candle highs we had, where we regularly faced rejection, but sometimes also found support like here, where there was support. Then we had support here again, even though we moved downward. There we had rejection again the whole time, and we should definitely remember this price range. For me personally, I'm now starting to look at the $100,000 mark. That's why I now have a limit order here on Bitcoin US Tether, and I'll do the same thing. I'll scale my position between. So I'll do this twice because it's between 100,000. And at this, what did I say? At the round $99,000 mark, I'll set another one as well so that I have 2 more entries here. To further scale the position, I still have open in Bitcoin. This way I can increase my position again, which has become quite small by now, and in the event of a reversal, which of course we're all hoping for. We'll see how things develop, but I'll be able to take more profits again. Ethereum is also looking very clean. Let's also take a look at the Ethereum liquidation heat map. It looks absolutely brilliant as well. For me, it's 2400. And that's also the point where I'll open my new positions again. I can also see here, we can see it very clearly right now, that in terms of price action, we actually have a downtrend. But at 2400, there's just so much liquidity that I have to say for Ethereum, let's take a closer look at that now. Why did I close the bot as well? I'll show you that in a moment too. But with Ethereum, 2400 would be exactly this price range down here, where we had these lows, where the Fibonacci is also drawn now. Sorry, I actually meant to do that here. But right at this price range, that's where I would open my new bot because I still see an opportunity here. That doesn't mean it has to happen, because with Ethereum as well, let's take a look at the one-day liquidation heat map so you can see how I approach this. We simply have at 2.5 right now at this very moment, a lot of longs coming in. 2,672, we have the liquidations from the shorts, which are currently pushing the price down. We'll see what the market makers do at the exchange opening. But why did I stop my trading bot? At least the one big one. I still have all the others running. If you look here, yes, it's being executed. You can see here all the others are really still running. Here there's still one with $1,500, another with $3,500, and the XLP with $1,020. But I've already saved myself from a small price drop here because I saw this divergence, and you know, I'm a divergence trader. And I love it when I see that we have a divergence. The first one didn't really play out, just a little bit, but I still had my bot open. But then I saw this divergence. If you look at this here, from this price area to that price area, that was my high. But I entered at around 2,648, that was my area. Around 8 o'clock, I closed my bot nicely in profit, and that's exactly it. But why do I do that? Because with the Ethereum bot, we've already saved about 5%. Ethereum, and we mustn't forget, Ethereum is just incredible and it's so extremely overheated. Even if I take out the Fibonacci here. With Ethereum, we've actually seen over 50% gains in just a few days. We must not forget that. For this reason, I simply close the larger bot a bit, and I will then reopen it in the price range of 2,400. And those are exactly these candle lows. If we reach that, these liquidation zones I showed, I will definitely open it again, because then I've saved myself about, as we'll see in a moment, about 10% that I've saved on what the bot buys back, and I'll just reopen it with a bit less risk. You know, in the spot area, it's already quite low risk, but I also want to reopen a 4x futures position because it brought in very good profits. And that's basically my plan. If we take a look at this on a smaller time frame as well, let's take the 1 hour chart now. And even on the 1 hour chart, you can actually see beautifully how big this divergence was from here to here. But it hasn't really played out strongly yet. I suspect that we can actually go further down here and the line at around 2,400, you can see that these were our highs here. And then it acted as a bit of support afterwards. That's why we'll see if we go there, really just based on the liquidation heat map on a larger time frame. In this case, that means 2 weeks, I think. Or was I there for a week? I'm not sure right now, but we'll see it in 2 weeks as well. And there it actually looks like there's very little. So we really have to look at the 1 week chart here. In the 1 week liquidation heat maps, we can clearly see that there's quite a bit here. And I'm very, very curious to see when we'll pick that up. To wrap things up, let's take a look at the trading indicator. As you can see, I have the 1 minute chart here on the left with Heiken Ashi candles. Why did I set it up this way? I have the take profit zones here less frequently, but on the right, I also have the 3 minute chart, which I include to get a bit of a look at the price action. So where do we have resistance? Where do we have support? Because I don't just go by the signals alone. I also take a look at these things myself. But what were the actual results? Today was really a crazy day. I could have even left the position open longer. But of course, since we're scalping on the 1 minute chart, I want to take profits. You can barely keep up with how fast it goes. Is there a reversal coming? You can see here there was a buy signal. I entered that trade. It might have even been a bit high, and there was a bit of a consolidation phase. For me, it's important to have a reasonable risk-reward ratio. In this case, it was 2.54. That was my risk-reward ratio. Then we got a short signal, even though I could have gotten more out of it. But here again, a risk-reward ratio of 2.33, which was incredibly good. Here, it didn't quite work out as well. I closed with a risk-reward ratio of about 1.36. I actually wanted to do more, but I saw that we then had a strong reversal candle come in. And if you look at this on the regular chart, you'll see that there was also an order block here, which you can't see anymore now. And I saw, okay, we're forming a consolidation here, making a reversal, and I'd rather close out before. And that was a good decision, before I might hit the stop loss here. Or if I had moved my stop loss to break even, but that's just wonderful. This short this morning was also absolutely brilliant. I took that trade, and it had a 1.99 risk-reward ratio. Actually, it was a 1.2. I think on the exchange, I ended up taking a 1.2. It worked out just perfectly. I didn't take this buy. I was having breakfast at that time. Luckily, yes, because otherwise I would have entered the trade. But in this case, we also had a buy signal here. But right here, at this price level, why didn't I take it even though I was in front of the chart? Because we had an order block here. And with a buy, when the order block is this close, it's not worth it for me to enter and take that trade. I have a complete tutorial on this. You can also see it on the website. That was another wonderful trade. That one was really good, the one that was taken here, but yesterday I did something here. No idea why I took this one so late. For some reason I thought, okay, we're going further down, even though we saw that the RSI was just nonsense. Okay, that's how it is. But then I just left it at that and called it done. But take a look at this 1 minute chart. If you understand a bit of price action, this sell, why didn't it count? For everyone who doesn't know, the simple reason is that there are blue candles here. If everything is pink, then it's a valid signal. If everything is blue, then it's a valid signal. The hit rate is actually very, very good. If you're not greedy and don't leave it open until the very end every time, sure, you could do it like now. I mean, that would have been incredible if you could have caught that. So what would that have been? 3.35% on the 1 minute chart. But I took 1.3% and I'm satisfied. And that's that. We're also very strongly overbought on the RSI, as we can see. That's why now would be the very latest opportunity to take profit at these take profit points. Check the video description. There you'll find the link to Avalon Trading, where you can unlock this indicator, okay? I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see each other again next time. Don't forget to like and comment, and bye-bye.